Imagine a world where electric vehicles aren't just sleek sedans or speedy sports cars. They're also military-grade tanks, designed by the man who's already reshaping how we think about transportation. What if Elon Musk's latest revelation could forever change the way we view the future of warfare, security, and automotive innovation? Join us as we explore this groundbreaking concept and the seismic shift it might bring to the future. Tanks have long been synonymous with modern warfare, and few conflicts showcase their transformative impact like World War II. These armored behemoths fundamentally altered the way wars were fought, making them pivotal in both offensive and defensive operations. Their arrival on the battlefield in the 20th century brought new levels of mobility, firepower, and protection, allowing military forces to adapt and evolve in response to the changing demands of combat. By the time the war ended, tanks had not only proven their strategic importance, but had also shaped the future of land warfare. The role of tanks during World War II cannot be overstated. They became the backbone of many key campaigns, playing a vital role in everything from the harsh deserts of North Africa to the dense forests of Western Europe. On the offensive, tanks were essential for breaking through enemy lines, leading the charge in operations like the Blitzkrieg campaigns. On the defensive, they were used to hold strategic points, often with devastating results. The sheer firepower of these machines, coupled with their ability to maneuver across different terrains, made them a game-changer in the theater of war. One of the most iconic moments in history, the D-Day landings, would have been unimaginable without the support of armored vehicles, as tanks helped secure beachheads and provide cover for the advancing infantry. World War II saw the production of thousands of tanks by the major powers, each nation contributing to the evolution of tank warfare with its own distinctive designs and strategies. The United States, Soviet Union, Britain, Germany, Italy, and Japan all created unique models, with some becoming legendary symbols of their respective military efforts. The United States produced over 60,000 tanks, with the M4 Sherman being the most notable. Renowned for its mechanical reliability, ease of production, and adaptability, the Sherman became the workhorse of the Allied forces. Though it often faced tougher German tanks on the battlefield, its sheer numbers and versatility played a key role in the eventual Allied victory. The Soviet Union, whose tank forces were central to pushing the Germans back to Berlin, produced over 54,000 tanks during the war. Their T-34 became one of the most celebrated armored vehicles in history. Its sloped armor, wide tracks, and powerful 76.2 mm gun made it a formidable adversary, capable of holding its own against German tanks. The T-34's design was revolutionary at the time, offering enhanced protection and mobility, which made it effective across the vast and often treacherous terrain of the Eastern Front. While slower, the KV series of heavy tanks provided even thicker armor and larger guns, giving the Soviets a significant advantage during key battles like the Battle of Kursk, where one of the largest tank confrontations in history took place. On the other hand, Germany was home to some of the war's most advanced and feared tanks. The Panzer IV, Tiger I, and Panther became the symbol of German tank forces, striking fear into the hearts of their enemies. The Panzer IV was a versatile medium tank that served throughout the war, evolving with each new model to meet the changing battlefield conditions. The Tiger I, however, was a terror on the battlefield, with its powerful 88 mm gun and nearly impenetrable front armor. Despite mechanical difficulties and production challenges, the Tiger I earned a reputation for its raw power, capable of destroying enemy tanks at incredible ranges. The Panther, introduced later in the war, was a response to the Soviet T-34, combining the firepower and armor of the Tiger with greater speed and maneuverability. These German tanks, though formidable, were not without their flaws, particularly their mechanical complexity, which hindered production and maintenance. Other nations also made significant contributions to tank warfare during the conflict, with varying degrees of success. Italy's Carro Armato M13/40, although outclassed by its Allied counterparts, played a role in the North African campaign. Japan's Type 97 Chiha, though underarmed and underarmored compared to the Allies, was the most widely produced Japanese tank of the war, seeing action across the Pacific. These lesser-known tanks, while not as advanced or successful as their more famous counterparts, offer insight into the varied approaches to tank design and the challenges each nation faced in adapting armored vehicles to their unique combat environments. As the war progressed, so did tank design and battlefield tactics. Early war tanks were often lighter, with less armor and smaller guns, but the demands of combat quickly led to more powerful, heavily armored models. Tanks became larger, more heavily armed, and better suited to the increasingly mechanized nature of warfare. This evolution also saw the rise of specialized roles, such as tank destroyers and self-propelled guns, which complemented the main armored forces. By the end of the war, tank warfare had undergone a radical transformation, paving the way for future innovations in military technology. The evolution of tank technology didn't end with the conclusion of World War II. As the world entered the Cold War, the arms race between superpowers led to the creation of more advanced and powerful tanks, designed for an entirely different type of warfare. While World War II saw tanks fighting in trenches and fields, the Cold War era anticipated massive armored engagements on the battlefields of Europe, where the stakes were higher and the threat of global conflict loomed large. This period sparked a new wave of tank development, as nations like the United States and the Soviet Union focused on creating the next generation of war machines to maintain military superiority. One of the most iconic and powerful tanks to emerge during the Cold War was the M1 Abrams, which first entered service with the U.S. Army in the 1980s. The Abrams revolutionized tank design with its advanced composite armor, a combination of ceramics, plastic, and reinforced layers of steel. The tank was further enhanced with a layer of depleted uranium, making it nearly impervious to enemy fire. This heavy-duty protection allowed the Abrams to take hits that would have destroyed other tanks, and its formidable survivability made it a symbol of U.S. military might. But the M1 Abrams wasn't just a fortress on tracks. Its firepower was equally impressive. Equipped with the M256 120 mm smoothbore cannon, it could strike targets from miles away with remarkable precision. The cannon could pierce through the thickest enemy armor, and its accuracy at long distances made it a key asset in battles where early engagement could mean the difference between victory and defeat. On top of that, the Abrams also carried a powerful array of machine guns, providing protection against infantry, helicopters, and even lighter vehicles. Whether facing a direct assault or providing overwatch, the Abrams had the firepower to ensure no enemy could approach unnoticed. But while the M1 Abrams remains a symbol of American armored strength, the Soviet Union wasn't far behind in tank innovation. The USSR produced a series of tanks that have remained a staple of Russian military forces, the T-72 and T-80. These tanks, developed during the Cold War, were built to match the firepower of the Abrams, with thick armor and powerful 125 mm smoothbore cannons. While they might not have the advanced armor systems of the Abrams, the T-72 and T-80 offered excellent firepower and reliability on the battlefield. Their ability to withstand battle damage and continue operating made them an intimidating force for any enemy. However, despite their formidable design, the tanks of both the US and the Soviet Union shared a common issue: weight. The M1 Abrams, for example, weighs in at around 70 tons, a massive and unwieldy figure compared to earlier tanks. This immense weight can be a double-edged sword. While it provides unparalleled protection, it also limits the tank's mobility. Heavy vehicles like the Abrams have difficulty maneuvering across soft terrain like mud, snow, or marshy land, where lighter tanks could glide with greater ease. Furthermore, the weight of these tanks can cause significant damage to roads and infrastructure, making it a logistical challenge to move them quickly and efficiently across battlefields. Transporting these massive machines across continents is an additional headache for military planners. Moving a 70-ton tank via air or sea requires immense resources, specialized equipment, and detailed planning. Transporting them by air, for instance, means using massive cargo planes, such as the C-17 Globemaster III, which can only carry a limited number of tanks at a time. The logistical complexity of getting tanks to remote conflict zones, especially in places where infrastructure is poor, presents one of the biggest challenges for modern militaries. Recognizing the importance of mobility, military strategists have long understood that a tank's effectiveness doesn't solely rely on its firepower or armor. How quickly a tank can be deployed is equally critical. For expeditionary forces like those of the US and Britain, which often find themselves fighting far from home, it is essential to have tanks that can be rapidly deployed by air or sea. This is where the weight of modern tanks like the M1 Abrams becomes a problem. As militaries seek to build tanks that are stronger and more capable, engineers face a dilemma. Each improvement in armor or weaponry adds weight, which exacerbates the mobility and transport issues. The ongoing Russo-Ukrainian war has brutally highlighted the vulnerabilities and limitations of today's tanks. Over 8,000 Russian tanks have been destroyed or incapacitated so far, a stark reminder of how costly tank warfare can be in a protracted, high-intensity conflict. Despite the technological advancements made over decades, tanks in modern warfare are far from invincible. The heavy losses of these armored giants underscore a critical point. Future tank designs need to be more resilient, adaptable, and capable of handling new threats on the battlefield. As tank crews face anti-tank missiles, drones, and sophisticated artillery, the need for innovation in tank protection and maneuverability has never been more urgent. Equally crucial in the Russo-Ukrainian conflict is the role of logistics in keeping tanks operational. A tank, no matter how powerful, is only as good as its support system. Tanks require constant supplies of fuel, ammunition, and maintenance to stay in the fight. In a conflict where supply lines are often targeted by enemy forces, the logistical challenges become even more pronounced. For instance, heavy tanks like the M1 Abrams are notoriously fuel-hungry, and ensuring that these massive machines remain operational in a constantly shifting battlefield becomes a logistical nightmare. Even the most advanced tanks can falter if they run out of fuel or lack the necessary parts for repairs. This is where the next generation of tanks could make a significant leap. Inspired by modern technologies like those used by Tesla in the electric vehicle industry, future tanks could rely on energy-efficient designs, digital automation, and lightweight materials. With advancements in artificial intelligence integration, tanks could become smarter, more efficient, and easier to maintain, reducing the logistical burdens that have long been a major challenge in tank warfare. This new approach could make tank warfare not just more effective, but also more sustainable in the long term. The tanks of tomorrow are set to be smaller, lighter, and more mobile, reflecting a major shift in how armored vehicles will be designed for future combat. The era of 70-ton tanks like the M1 Abrams dominating the battlefield is coming to an end. As military planners focus on agility, transportability, and rapid deployment, new tanks are being engineered with these priorities in mind. With a focus on speed and maneuverability, the next generation of tanks will not only be more effective on the battlefield, but will also be easier to move, whether by air, sea, or land. One notable example of this shift is the South Korean K2 Black Panther, which weighs in at about 55 tons, significantly lighter than older tanks, but still capable of packing a punch. The K2 Black Panther is equipped with a powerful 120 mm smoothbore gun, which is capable of engaging targets at long ranges. What sets the K2 apart is its impressive combination of firepower, mobility, and advanced technology. Its composite armor, featuring a blend of steel, ceramic, and other materials, provides solid protection while keeping the tank's weight within a manageable range. The K2 is also equipped with an advanced fire control system, allowing it to hit targets with precision even while moving at high speeds across rough terrain. This makes the K2 Black Panther well-suited for modern high-speed warfare, where flexibility and rapid response are key. Similarly, Japan's Type 10 tank, which weighs around 50 tons, represents another step forward in tank design. Like the K2, the Type 10 was built with the understanding that future tanks need to be lighter and more agile. The Type 10 features a 120 mm smoothbore gun, comparable to that of other modern tanks, but its real strength lies in its design. The tank's hull is made from a composite material that provides excellent protection without adding excessive weight. One of the standout features of the Type 10 is its advanced suspension system, which allows it to maintain stability and speed even in challenging terrains. Additionally, the Type 10 is equipped with a digital battlefield management system, allowing it to communicate and coordinate more effectively with other military units. This tank's smaller size and enhanced agility make it ideal for Japan's defense needs, particularly in island environments where rapid deployment and maneuverability are critical. These tanks represent a growing trend towards lightweight designs that still maintain the core attributes needed for combat success: firepower, protection, and mobility. By sacrificing some armor to make them lighter, tanks like the K2 Black Panther and Type 10 are better suited for the modern battlefield, where quick, coordinated strikes are often more important than sheer firepower or heavy protection. This makes them ideal for expeditionary operations, where rapid deployment and the ability to maneuver through difficult terrain are essential. One of the most significant advancements in tank technology will be the integration of hybrid electric engines. Just like modern hybrid cars, these new tanks will combine diesel engines with electric motors and batteries, resulting in several major advantages over traditional designs. Hybrid engines can greatly improve fuel efficiency, a crucial consideration for tanks that need to operate over long periods without access to constant resupply. For instance, the current M1 Abrams, with its gas turbine engine, consumes about 3 gallons of fuel per mile, which is a major logistical challenge in long-term operations. However, a hybrid engine, like the one demonstrated in the Abrams X technology vehicle, offers a 50% reduction in fuel consumption. This improvement is not just about reducing fuel costs. It also allows tanks to operate for longer periods without requiring a constant flow of fuel, making them more agile in sustained operations. In addition to improving fuel efficiency, hybrid engines offer several other benefits. One key advantage is reliability. Diesel-electric power plants tend to be more reliable and require less maintenance than traditional gas turbines. This is a major consideration for military forces operating in hostile environments where access to repair services can be limited. The increased reliability of hybrid engines can ensure that tanks spend more time in the fight and less time in the repair shop. Another major advantage of hybrid engines is their quieter operation. Traditional tanks with gas turbine engines are notoriously loud, making them easy targets for enemy forces that rely on sound detection to pinpoint their position. In contrast, hybrid engines produce less noise, giving tanks a tactical edge on the battlefield. Quieter tanks are harder to detect, which can be especially valuable in stealth operations or when tanks are operating close to enemy lines. The reduced noise levels can also make tanks less susceptible to attacks from drones and other surveillance technologies, which are increasingly used in modern warfare. Hybrid engines also present environmental benefits, albeit less obvious in the heat of battle. By reducing fuel consumption and emissions, these engines could make future tanks more sustainable in the long term. In a world where resource conservation is becoming more important, hybrid technology could reduce the environmental footprint of military operations, a factor that could be important as nations look for ways to reduce their overall energy consumption and dependence on fossil fuels. As technology advances, AI and automation are poised to revolutionize the next generation of tanks. These innovations are set to play a huge role in transforming tanks from mere powerful machines into highly sophisticated digital platforms. Soon, tanks will become increasingly reliant on onboard systems that assist with navigation, target acquisition, and even maintenance tasks. AI will reduce the workload on tank crews, allowing them to focus on mission-critical tasks rather than being bogged down by routine operations. With these systems in place, tanks could operate more autonomously, improving both their effectiveness and efficiency on the battlefield. A major shift in tank design will be the transition to software-driven platforms, much like the approach Tesla has taken with electric vehicles. In this model, the tank's hardware will serve as a platform that can be continuously updated and improved via software without needing to undergo a complete redesign. This approach allows for rapid integration of new capabilities, keeping the tanks on the cutting edge of technology while maintaining a core design that can be easily modified. The U.S. Army has already been working on such advancements with the Optionally Manned Fighting Vehicle, OMFV, designed to replace the Bradley fighting vehicle. In 2021, the Army awarded contracts worth $299.4 million to 5 industry teams to help develop a concept for this next-generation platform. The future OMFV is expected to be a sustainable and flexible platform that can be remotely controlled, while also providing both protection and firepower. Its open architecture design will make it adaptable for future upgrades, ensuring that the vehicle stays relevant as new technologies emerge. While the U.S. is making strides with AI integration in its tanks, Russia has also been working on its own innovations. Before the invasion of Ukraine, Russia was preparing to test the Sturm Heavy Unmanned Ground Vehicle, UGV, based on the T-72 tank chassis. The project, run by Zavod, involves developing 4 different variants with different armaments for specific combat missions. These UGVs could represent a new chapter in armored warfare, where unmanned vehicles take on more dangerous tasks, reducing the risk to human crews while providing the same, if not more, lethal capabilities. In India, the focus on uncrewed combat vehicles is also gaining momentum. The Combat Vehicles Research and Development Establishment, part of India's Defense Research and Development Organization, has proposed a development program for an uncrewed version of the Arjun Mk1A tank. This vehicle will retain the powerful 120 mm main gun, offering the same firepower as its crewed counterpart, but with the added advantage of being able to operate without human intervention in the most dangerous environments. Meanwhile, Israel is investing heavily in AI and automation with the development of its Carmel Armored Fighting Vehicle, AFV. The Carmel program aims to create a minimally crewed platform capable of operating in a wide range of combat situations, including conventional battles, urban warfare, and asymmetrical conflicts. The Israeli Defense Forces selected IAI as the prime contractor for the Carmel's next phase of development in October 2021, signaling a clear commitment to harnessing cutting-edge technology to improve the effectiveness of its ground forces. France is also exploring AI-driven innovations to enhance the survivability of its ground fleet. The French Defense Procurement Agency, DGA, has been working on the Chameleon project, which aims to develop AI-based software that can provide real-time adaptive camouflage for combat vehicles. This technology would allow tanks to blend into their surroundings more effectively, making them harder to detect and target by enemy forces. The application of AI to camouflage could provide tanks with a significant tactical advantage, especially in modern warfare, where detection technology is becoming increasingly sophisticated. When it comes to survivability, countries are also turning to innovative materials and technologies to protect their armored vehicles. Japan's Acquisition, Technology and Logistics Agency has been working on ballistic plates made from synthetic resins and ceramics, designed to enhance the protection of military vehicles, including field ambulances. These new materials are lighter yet stronger, offering greater protection without the added weight that could hinder a vehicle's mobility. In Canada, researchers are exploring the potential of domestically developed ceramic add-on vehicle armor, which could drastically reduce the time required to develop and field new armored fleets. This initiative, backed by the Natural Sciences and Engineering Research Council of Canada, is expected to provide an important boost to the development of more effective, quicker-to-deploy armor solutions that can withstand the increasing sophistication of modern anti-tank weapons. As we look towards the future of tank design, one of the most exciting advancements will be in firepower. For decades, the standard tank cannon has been around 120 mm, but that is set to change. The next generation of tanks may be equipped with much larger guns, capable of delivering more devastating firepower. For example, the Main Ground Combat System, a joint project between France and Germany, plans to arm its future tanks with a 140 mm cannon. This would offer a substantial increase in firepower, allowing tanks to engage targets at greater distances and with more precision. Such an upgrade would give these new tanks the ability to destroy enemy vehicles, fortifications, and even aircraft with ease, shifting the balance of power on the battlefield. Alongside the larger guns, the implementation of autoloaders will also play a crucial role in the evolution of tank design. Autoloaders are automated systems that load shells into the tank's cannon, reducing the need for a human loader. This is particularly important as tanks become smaller and more efficient, requiring fewer crew members to operate. Autoloaders not only streamline the loading process, but also improve the speed and reliability of firing. Although some critics argue that autoloaders can be less reliable than human loaders, the push for more compact tanks means that these systems will likely become the standard. With fewer crew members needed, future tank crews may be able to focus on more strategic and critical tasks, relying on technology to handle some of the more routine operations. As tanks evolve, so do the threats they face. Modern warfare is constantly changing, and with it, the weapons designed to counter tanks are becoming more advanced and lethal. Anti-tank missiles, guided rockets, mines, and drones are all serious threats to even the most heavily armored vehicles. In response, the next generation of tanks will need to be equipped with cutting-edge protection systems to keep pace with these evolving threats. One of the most notable advancements in tank protection is Israel's Trophy Active Protection System, which has already proven to be a game-changer. The Trophy system is designed to detect incoming anti-tank rockets and neutralize them before they can strike the vehicle. This is achieved through a combination of jamming signals, deploying smoke grenades, or firing projectiles to intercept the threat. As the battlefield becomes more complex with the increasing use of guided missiles, systems like Trophy will be essential in ensuring that tanks remain survivable against modern threats. Stealth technology is another key area where the next generation of tanks will see advancements. As military technology improves, tanks will need to become harder to detect by both human eyes and electronic surveillance systems. This will be achieved through the development of stealth systems that reduce the tank's heat, noise, and electromagnetic signatures. With these technologies in place, tanks will be less detectable on the battlefield, allowing them to engage enemies with greater surprise and effectiveness. To further enhance stealth, new camouflage systems will be integrated into future tanks. These systems could include thermal nets or adaptive camouflage that changes the tank's appearance to match its surroundings. By making tanks blend into their environment more effectively, these systems will reduce the chances of the tank being spotted by enemy forces. This will be particularly important in urban warfare, where tanks can easily become targets for snipers, anti-tank weapons, or drones. With these advanced protection and stealth systems, future tanks will be much more difficult to target and destroy, allowing them to operate with greater freedom and success. As technology continues to evolve, how do you think the role of tanks will change in the next decade? Thank you for watching another episode on our channel. While you are still here, click the video on your screen to see more mind-blowing videos like this one.